Let's get started with first news. Jon Jones has once again made headlines, this time taking a clear dig at Islam Makhachev and the growing conversation around who deserves to be called the GOAT. Jones recently spoke out after seeing fans and media members label Islam as one of the greatest fighters in MMA history. Instead of agreeing with that discussion, Jones appeared to question it in a very direct way. Jon reposted a graphic on X that ranked the greatest fighters based on their title fight victories. Jones was placed at number 1 with an incredible 16 title fight wins. Meanwhile, Islam was ranked all the way down at number 12 with 7 title fight victories. That ranking alone caught plenty of attention. But Jones's reaction made the situation even more interesting. Alongside the graphic, Jones wrote, "Hopped on social media and heard there was a new GOAT. I'm so confused. Make it make sense." The message was short, but the meaning was pretty clear. Jones appeared to be questioning how Islam could suddenly be considered the new GOAT when his championship resume does not yet match what Jones believes he has accomplished throughout his own career. Jones has long been involved in GOAT debates, and he has consistently pointed to his title fight record and longevity as major reasons why he deserves the top spot. On the other hand, Islam has been building his own legacy and has quickly become one of the most dominant fighters of his generation. His rise has naturally sparked comparisons with other all-time greats. Still, Jones clearly does not seem convinced that Islam has done enough to take his place at the top of the GOAT conversation. With Jones sitting at number 1 on the graphic and Islam at number 12, his post was an obvious reminder that the GOAT debate is far from settled. Move on to another news. Josh Hoit is eager to get his next fight booked, and he has now made it clear that he wants a big matchup. Hoit recently responded to a clip from Glover Teixeira's appearance on the Ariel Helwani show, where Glover discussed the possibility of Alex Pereira facing Hoit next. Glover said he would be open to seeing that fight happen, especially because Hoit has been talking a lot and could bring a completely different challenge for Alex. He suggested that Hoit could potentially beat Alex, climb back toward the top, and eventually earn another title opportunity. Glover also described the matchup as a good fight for Alex, which clearly caught Hoit's attention. Hoit responded directly to the clip, saying, "Either give me Cyril Gane for the title or Alex for the BMF." He then explained that he is tired of watching fighters hold opponents down without doing enough damage while still being called BMF, or pound-for-pound greats. Hoit made it clear that he wants action, saying that you cannot claim those titles while simply controlling opponents and playing it safe. He also promised that whoever he fights next, the fans are going to get pure violence and a show. That statement makes it obvious that Hoit is looking for a fight that will generate excitement rather than simply accepting any opponent offered to him. The idea of Hoit facing Alex Pereira is certainly an intriguing one. Alex is one of the biggest stars in the UFC, while Hoit is looking to make a major statement and establish himself at the highest level. For now, nothing appears to be officially booked, but Hoit has clearly thrown his name into the conversation. And if the UFC wants a matchup built around action, confidence, and serious power, this could be an interesting option. Move on to another news. Jon Jones has explained why he believes Khabib Nurmagomedov's team is the greatest MMA team of all time, and his argument is based on one incredible statistic. Anik pointed to the unbelievable success of the fighters developed under the guidance of Khabib's late father and legendary coach, Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov. According to Anik, the team's leading fighters have combined for an astonishing professional record of 109 wins and just 2 losses. While discussing the numbers, Anik reacted with disbelief, saying that the group is something like 109-2. He then broke down exactly where those losses came from. One of those defeats belongs to Islam Makhachev, who suffered a loss to Adriano Martins back in 2015. The other loss came from Umar Nurmagomedov, who was defeated by Merab in a UFC title fight. Outside of those 2 setbacks, the record becomes absolutely remarkable. The group includes some of the biggest names to come out of the legendary Dagestani system, including Usman Nurmagomedov, Umar Nurmagomedov, Islam Makhachev, and Khabib Nurmagomedov. Anik also mentioned a 5th fighter from the same system, describing him as an absolute monster. When you look at the combined success of these fighters, it becomes much easier to understand why Anik has such a high opinion of the team. The numbers are especially impressive because these fighters have competed against elite opposition throughout their careers, while continuing to develop and maintain an incredibly high winning percentage. Anik also gave credit to other respected Mama teams, mentioning Longo and Weidman Mama as a team that belongs inside the top 5. However, when it comes to the #1 spot, Anik believes there is a clear choice. For him, the foundation built by Abdulmanap is what separates this group from everyone else. The system created by Abdulmanap produced multiple elite fighters, champions, and dominant wrestlers who have carried his philosophy into the modern UFC. Even after his passing, that influence continues through Khabib and the fighters who remain connected to the team. And when a group can combine for 109 wins against only 2 losses, with those fighters competing at the highest level of MMA, it is easy to understand why Jon Anik considers Abdulmanap's tree the greatest of all time. Move on to another news. Tyron Woodley has finally spoken out about his recent beef with Sean Strickland after Strickland publicly leaked their private direct messages. If you missed what happened, Strickland recently went after Dean Thomas over the Jillian Robertson situation, making several harsh comments about him and questioning his role as a coach. Woodley, who has been a longtime friend of Dean, decided to step in and contact Strickland privately. Woodley warned Strickland to watch what he was saying about Dean. Strickland responded in typical fashion, firing back with an extremely disrespectful message about Dean before sending Woodley a screenshot of his professional fight record, seemingly highlighting his recent losses. The private conversation was then made public, creating even more attention around the situation. Now, Woodley has explained his side of the story and made it clear that he does not regret standing up for his friend. Woodley said Strickland has the freedom to say whatever he wants and whenever he wants. However, instead of attacking him publicly, Woodley chose to contact him directly. He explained that he went straight to Strickland privately because he did not want to give him unnecessary clout or turn the situation into a public spectacle. According to Woodley, Strickland eventually handled the situation publicly in a way that reflected the current clout era, but privately, there was still a level of respect between them. Woodley said that was where he decided to leave things because he understands that Strickland is allowed to express his opinions even if he strongly disagrees with them. However, Woodley also made it clear that he still stands behind everything he said. He emphasized that Dean is like a brother to him, and he is willing to defend him if someone crosses the line. Woodley praised Dean as one of the most intelligent minds in the sport, and said he is not going to sit back while someone disrespects him. He also made his position extremely clear. If Strickland has a problem with what he said, Woodley is willing to say the same thing directly to his face, and if the situation ever becomes serious enough that the two end up fighting over it. Woodley says he is ready to go. For now, the situation appears to have cooled down privately, but Woodley has made it clear that when it comes to defending his friends, he is not backing down. Move on to another news. We have some very unfortunate news coming out of the UFC, as the scheduled main event for UFC Noche has been canceled after one of the fighters was forced to withdraw. According to a new report from Ag Fight, Yair Rodriguez is out of his scheduled main event matchup against John Silva. The news was revealed just moments ago, immediately putting the highly anticipated fight in serious doubt. John Silva has already reacted to the announcement, responding with a laughing emoji on social media. While the reaction might seem surprising considering the circumstances, the bigger story is what happens next for the main event. At this point, the exact reason behind Rodriguez's withdrawal has not been revealed. There is currently no official confirmation regarding the circumstances that forced him out of the fight. However, whenever a fighter pulls out this close to an event, an injury is often one of the biggest possibilities. For now, though, fans will have to wait for more information before knowing exactly what happened. The UFC, meanwhile, wasted very little time trying to save the main event. A replacement has already been announced, with Jose Delgado stepping in to face Jan Silva. That means Silva will still have an opponent and will remain on the card. Despite losing his original matchup, Silva also reacted to the replacement news on X, making it clear that he is not backing away from the opportunity. He wrote, "Hunter took care of everything. We have a new target, new opponent, same date, same goal." That message says a lot about Silva's mindset heading into the fight. Even though his original opponent is now out, Silva appears completely focused on moving forward. Instead of complaining about the change or pulling out himself, he has accepted the new matchup and is preparing to continue with the same objective. For Silva, the target remains the same. The opponent has changed, but the date and the ultimate goal have not. The sudden change is obviously disappointing for fans who were expecting to see Rodriguez against Silva, especially with the fight serving as the main event. But with Delgado stepping in, the UFC has managed to keep the main event alive. Now all attention turns toward the new matchup, and whether Silva can deliver another impressive performance despite having his opponent changed at the last moment. Move on to another news. Carlos Prates has now confirmed that he believes he is next in line to challenge Islam Makhachev for the UFC welterweight title. Prates recently appeared on the Ariel Helwani show, where he spoke confidently about his future and made it clear that he expects to be the next man standing across from Islam inside the octagon. After signing a brand new multi-fight deal with the UFC, the explosive Brazilian striker explained that this opportunity is about much more than money or a championship payday. Prates genuinely believes he has what it takes to dethrone the current pound-for-pound king. While much of the MMA world views Islam as one of the most complete and difficult fighters to beat, Prates believes he has already identified weaknesses that he can exploit. According to Carlos, there are openings in both Islam's striking and grappling, and he is already thinking about how he can take advantage of them. Prates believes his striking could create major problems for Islam, but he also wants to test himself against the champion's wrestling and grappling. He understands that he would enter the matchup as a significant underdog, but that does not appear to bother him at all. Prates also addressed the discussion surrounding Michael Morales and whether Morales could be a bigger threat to Islam. Carlos pushed back against the idea that Morales is automatically more dangerous because of his size and physical strength. Instead, Prates believes the difference comes down to technique, fight IQ, and overall MMA ability. When asked about Morales' striking, Prates admitted that Morales has solid kickboxing. However, Carlos immediately added that he believes he is much better on the feet. That confidence is clearly driving him toward the matchup. Prates explained that he is not simply interested in fighting Islam because of the title or the money. He genuinely wants to test himself against one of the best fighters in the world. And despite knowing that most people would pick Islam to win, Prates believes he can shock everyone. He said he truly believes he can win, surprise the entire MMA world, and prove that he belongs at the very top. When Helwani pressed him on whether he genuinely believes he can be the man to beat Islam, Prates gave a confident answer. Yes, he believes he can do it. For Carlos Prates, this is more than a championship opportunity. It is the chance to test himself against the best and potentially bring the welterweight title back to Brazil. Move on to another news. Arman is facing more backlash after making controversial comments about Charles Oliveira ahead of his massive UFC 331 matchup against Mauricio Ruffi. Arman appears to be embracing a completely different image heading into the fight, even announcing a major change to his longtime nickname. The lightweight contender revealed that he is officially moving away from his old nickname and will now walk to the octagon under the name Batman. However, the nickname change is nothing compared to the accusations Arman made about Charles. Charles was originally scheduled to face Arman in a highly anticipated rematch on September 20th, but Charles eventually pulled out after the tragic passing of his shootbox teammate and close friend Alan Nascimento. The MMA community largely supported Charles during that difficult moment, but Arman clearly sees the situation very differently. Arman questioned the timing of Charles returning to training and appearing on live streams just days after withdrawing from the matchup. According to Arman, he was originally preparing for a 5-round fight against Charles when he was contacted while he was away in the mountains. He was then told that the UFC had found a replacement, and that opponent was Mauricio Ruffi. Arman explained that the UFC told him Charles could no longer fight because his friend had passed away and he was unable to train. But Arman said he did not fully understand the situation, especially after seeing Charles back in camp and doing live streams only a few days later. He even suggested that Charles may have already been considering a different matchup, mentioning Diego Lopez as a possible opponent. Arman went as far as saying that Charles may have used the situation as an excuse to get out of their fight. At the same time, Arman acknowledged that losing someone close to you is incredibly difficult. He said he understands that everyone handles grief differently, but he still believes Charles could have fought him and dedicated the victory to his late friend. Arman also claimed that if Charles had the choice between fighting him or Diego Lopez, Charles would almost certainly choose Diego. Those comments have naturally added even more heat to the rivalry, especially considering the respect many fans have shown Charles following the tragedy. Now, Arman has moved on to Mauricio Ruffy, but his comments about Charles have created a whole new layer of controversy heading into UFC 331.